Pawb, how are you all? I'm falling in love with a new fold of card, so much so that I started on this one and it folds up like this. So there's my first card and it opens up, so it sort of stands, I suppose, like a bit of a double W shaped card. And I actually saw this card on Wow Nola Creations. Now if you're looking for somebody to follow, she is fantastic on YouTube. So there's my second one, using the Parisian suite, and then I use the Forever Blossoms inside and the stunning designer paper. So that one looks like that then. So they sort of open up then, and then you've got your sentiment piece inside. So it looks like a panoramic sort of card. And then I've made this one, which is like a little baby card. So there's the front there, and then it opens up, and I use the tropical chic leaves as well. They're really hard to show on screen, I've decided, because you can't seem to get the full effect of them on screen. And then, so that's what it looks like there. I don't know whether that's a better sort of shot of it. I'll show you those in that sort of way there. So they are very, very 3D. And I'm going to make another one, because that's the sort of mood I'm in lately, is to make multiples of the same sort of card. So I'm using a really old stamp set called Lift Me Up, and I'm going to send it to my friend because for lockdown, and I've chosen this sentiment, just a note to lift your spirits. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut my card to show you. And I've actually done, I love to do myself a template, because what I tend to find is that when I'm doing the cards regularly, I've got the measurements in my head. As soon as I stop doing them, then I need to try to search for the instructions again. So I always like to make myself a card template. And then, so in all fairness, this was a template, as I say, shared by, I think it's Susan, I think it's Lavassa of Wow Nola Creations, but I've written down the paper sizes as well. So what I'll do at the end of the video, trying to find out where the centre of my camera is. At the end of the video, I'll take a photo of this for you as well. So my card base is 6 by 12. And then put your card up to 1. And on your trimmer, you're going to cut from 5 to 11. Well, I'm going to go from 11 till 5 because that's where my blade is at the moment. Okay, so you're about an inch in. Then I'm going to do it the other side. I'm going to bring it from the back of the trimmer in to an inch, put it down, and once again, because my blade is this side, I'm going from 11 to 5. So when you look at it then, as you can see then, there's a section there just with a slice down each side. Now, if you're using the Stampin' Up trimmer that scores as well, whatever you do, make sure your cutting blade is the other side, because we're going to use our score blade now. And our first score, we're going to go from the side that hasn't got any of the cut, and we're going to score 4 inches. So we're going to score at 4 inches. Okay, then the next score is going to be 5 inches. So that should then be the beginning of your cut, and you're not going to score all the way. You're only going to go between the two, this rectangle where you've got a slice either side, if that makes sense. You're only going to do the middle section. Then, let's pull this arm out. We're going to do 6.5. Once again, you're only going from the cut sections. So 6.5. And once again, make sure you're using your scoring blade. Obviously, if you haven't got a trimmer that scores, you can use a scoreboard, or you can use the groove of your trimmer with an embossing nib. Then we're going to 8 inches. So press down to 8 inches. Then you're going to do 9.5 inches. 9.5. And then the final one is 11 inches. So you're doing it at the end of your cut. Oh, I've just realised that the 8-inch one, I'm going to go back to 8 inches now, has to be either side of the cut as well, because that's like half of your card. So I'm going back to 8, and this time I'm going right up the centre of it. There we go. So that's all my score lines. Now I do find when you're using your trimmer to score, it doesn't give you such deep score lines as a scoreboard. So I'm now going to carefully, the front flap comes over. I'm just going to go up and down it with my bone folder. Then the 8 inches goes back on itself, if that makes sense. Okay, so it's going to look like that so far. Then this one is a valley, so the next fold is going to be a mountain fold, and you're only folding the piece that you've scored. So it's going to be mountain, valley, like that. Then mountain, valley. So you're just going to do it alternately. A bit like you would a fan. Like when we used to make a fan as a child, or was it just me? And used to do fold over each other side. So then your card will go in this envelope like that. So it fits in a normal size envelope then. Right, so now I'm going to start decorating it. And this piece of paper is going on the outside of my card here. I have got the measurements on there, but I've got, I worked out the measurements sort of roughly myself, and I just sort of took a 1/4 inch off. A 1/4 inch is a little bit too much. So if you don't want too big a border, I would add another 1/8 of an inch on. I had to shout to my husband earlier on to find out what the smaller pieces are. I'm rubbish with inches really, and yet because lots of the measurements you find online are in inches, I'm a bit pants at converting them then. So this paper, I've had this paper years and years, and it came, I think it was like the matching one that came with the stamp set. So then I've got these little pieces here. These are actually, so all the length of these pieces are 5 3/4, or just a smidgen over, and they're just a smidgen over 3/4 of an inch wide. Now I tend to use Tombow for this, just so I can make sure they are exactly in place. And then there we go. I must be honest, I'm really enjoying trying all these new folds. That I'm looking for an excuse now to make and send cards. Yeah, I'm really weird. I go through phases where 1 minute I can't seem to motivate myself to do any crafting at all. And I'm all housework. I never thought I'd do it myself like that. But now I'm all crafting. Now then, I've cut these pieces here, and I'm going to try to keep them so that the clouds line up. So that's why I was just sort of checking for there. And they are just a smidgen over 1 1/4 inch wide by a smidgen over 3 3/4 inches. So obviously you can use any papers at all then for this, whatever your theme your card is. It is such an easy, it looks really effective, but it is such an easy fold to do. I think the hardest thing sometimes is working out where the folds are going to be. Right. So I'm just decorating these 4 sections. Now, the last ones I've done, I've kept all those 4 sections. I've kept the 2 on the ends the same paper, and the 2 middle ones the same paper. But for this one, because I wanted it to look like these, the little hot air balloons are flying, I've kept the cloud paper for all of them. And then these little pieces then These are really dinky because they just go for this section here, and they are just over a smidgen over 2 3/4 long by just over 3/4 wide. As I say, if you like a bigger border, then stick to the measurements that are written on here. It all depends which one you prefer, really. There we go. So obviously this is going to be a bit of a longer video today because I'm showing you the whole process of making the card. There. It's really hard to judge how long to have a video. Are you ones that like longer videos, or do you like to just see the speeded up version? There we go. So that's my card design there. So now I'm just going to refold the sections like that. There we are. So that is the shape of your card. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to bring in, I've cut out my hot air balloons and some clouds. Now the cloud and the hot air balloons are in the Lift Me Up set. I know that there's a hot air balloon set in the catalogue currently. I can't remember if it's staying in there. Now if you are sticking things across the top, make sure you're only sticking them to the one section. You don't want them overlapping, otherwise your card won't fold correctly. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put some of the clouds across the top like this. So if I'm going to put some of these big hot air balloons now here, but I'm only sticking them to this one side. You don't want it sticking on the folding section, otherwise your card won't work. So that's just stuck on this thin strip there. And then I'm going to put some then. Look at me as I'm sticking it in, and I'm not even listening to my own advice. So that bit is going there, like that. And then these little ones then, I'm sort of going to put, as I'd say, sticking on that one sort of piece there. Now this one I am going to stick it straight in the middle there. I've got glue on it. Whoop. There we go. Doesn't want to come off. So it just looks like a sky full of hot air balloons then. I'm going to put a little red one over here. I'm just trying to get them then at all at different levels. I'm going to put that one there. Oh, that's the trouble with Tombow. Once you sort of touch them, then they all change places. They put this one in there, I think. But as I say, this card design could be used for any occasions. And I'm trying to see all the different effects I can get out of my different, I'm going to put this one at the back so as if it's coming up from, no, just put that the wrong side, haven't I? Oh, don't. Right, let me just wipe that on there. And watch now what I'll do then. I'll come across probably and put something on there. I'm just trying to get as much use out of my older stamp sets, because as tempting as it is to want to buy everything in the new catalogue, I'm not going to, because I've got at the moment more important things to buy. Like we've got to buy windows for a house and things like that. So that's how it's looking so far. Can you see it? Trouble is now I'm all covered in glue. Right, I didn't realize my camera had stopped, so I've restarted it now. But as you can see, I've just done that section there. Let me see. Right, let's see if that's a better colour for you. And as you can see, I've got all the little clouds then above the hot air, covering the hot air balloons, or just sort of popping out so the hot air balloons looks like it's coming out of the clouds. So now I'm going to, I've used the stitch framelets then, the rectangular framelets, and I'm going to use this die cut from the pack. This is the stamp set. As I say, it is an old one. Oh dear me, is really struggling again with the light tonight. There it is. Lift Me Up, and it's got the matching framelets. So what I'm going to do now, this little template I've made from, I think it's Sunshine and Rainbows. I made it ages ago then, and I just keep it in the pack then. So whenever I want to, like a cloudy look to my card, I just pull this out then and just lay it so it sort of acts as a mask then, and then just to add a bit of cloud detail. There, so I'm just using some balmy blue for this, like this, just to, so it wasn't just going on a plain white background. And I've cut that out of real red, but I have used the what's it called, couldn't think it was called then, the sticky back self-adhesive sheet there for that. So I'm just going to peel that off here. Do you know I had everything ready? How can I lose everything? I'm still struggling with, oh, is that better? Yes, that's better. I'm just going to peel this off now, because these really fiddly die cuts, these are even fiddly to get the backing off, they are quite difficult to stick down. I don't think Stampin' Up sell these anymore, but Amazon do, and Hobbycraft actually. So I'm just going to put that at a little bit of a, then again, what do you think? Hot air balloons tend to go up in a straight line, don't they? They don't go so much at a jaunty angle. Right, let me see if I can fit. What I wanted to do was have my sentiment on the front. Just a little note to lift your spirits. So if I try and get that as far down as possible. Not very straight, but I'm sure she'll forgive me. And then I'll stick that on there. And I'm actually going to mount it onto the real red. I think I'll use a bit of, got a bit of fun foam here. Now I'm too tight to buy the self-adhesive sheets, because although lots of my American friends say how cheap it is, in the UK is not so cheap to buy the self-adhesive one. So I just use my ATG gun and stick it both sides then. There we go, there's that one. Put that on the back of there, and I've got another little bit then. And I've had this funky foam for ages and ages, until I thought, well, why didn't I just use it up in my make, do and mend sort of mood that I'm in at the moment. Right, so that is going on the front of my card, and I've chosen this piece of paper here that looks like it's flying over fields. That's all I need to do now is my inside piece. And what I like to do lately is just decorate that a little bit as well. So I think I'm going to decorate that, and I'm going to have inside sending smiles across the miles, and I'm just going to have some clouds. I think, being a crafter at the moment, I think we've got the power just to put a little smile on somebody's face, haven't we, by sending them an unexpected card in the post. The baby card that I did, it's actually for one of our parents in school. So I thought it's just a nice little surprise for them. I'm going to post that out to them. Here we go. I'm just going to use my grid paper to try to roughly get that straight. And once again, I'm going to use Bermuda Bay and put it straight in the middle. Like that. And then I'm going to use Balmy Blue and stamp up these little clouds, and I'm going to put 2 of them together on there because it'll make it a bit quicker as well. So how are you finding your motivation to craft in lockdown? Are you feeling sort of motivated to get it into your craft areas and get stuff done, or are you finding it a bit of a struggle? There we go. I think I'll just, no, I don't know, I'll just add another lot. Trouble is, sometimes I struggle to work out where to stop. I'm just going to do it like that so I can do my writing down the bottom, and then that is going on this inside section here, and then my card is done and dusted. So as I say, I'll put a photo at the end of my card template that I created. As I say, the original idea the one that I found was from Wow Nola Creations. I'll put a link to her video if I can find it. I found it on her blog, so that's why I might struggle to get. So there it is. There's the card on the inside. That's the outside, and that's then how it goes in your envelope. And then when the recipient opens it up, it'll fold into its place, and there it is. That's how it then is displayed on their mantelpiece, like that, and that's the inside. So I'll just show you once again what I used. I used Lift Me Up. As I say, this is a really old stamp set, and but anything like that would do. But also you could use any embellishments, any stamps, any papers. The world is your oyster. So have fun stamping. Show those neglected Stampin' Up sets some love, and I shall see you soon. Hwyl fawr, take care, stay safe. Bye.